Shut up and sit down.
Right, I've got everything loosely bolted in where it needs to be. And I've got a handbrake that works on the ratchet, pushes the cylinder. So all I need to do now is tidy up the brackets, bolt everything down tight, reassemble it again, and let's see if it works once I've plumbed it in. Well, I've finished all the brackets now. They've all been trimmed to size, and they've just had a quick coat of satin black. I'll let them dry now for a couple of hours, turn them over, do the other side, and then I can finalise the assembly in the car. Right, here we've got hydraulic conversion on an MR2, hydraulic handbrake conversion I should say. But I am still utilising, just for the MOT, the original handbrake cables. You can't see them, but they are there. There's one of the cables and the other one's down there, and they are linked to the block. And you can see the cable there coming up to the adjuster nut. So that mechanical side is still working. But also, let me sit in the car, it might be easier. You've got the hydraulic portion of the handbrake as well, all working in conjunction with each other. For the MOT, I'm just going to back the mechanical off as far as it'll go, but I still want the actuators on the calipers to work. And just for the MOT test, because that's how they test, they just pull the handbrake and see if it holds. And this will hold. This has got a really good stroke on it. I've got there's 7 clicks on that. That is going to work. That is going to work really, really well. Now, the only thing I've got to do now is the hydraulics. That's the feed in that's going to come from the ABS block. That's the feed that's going back to the rear calipers. Let me quickly show you where all the pipes are going to come from. Let me just clamber out the car and put the bonnet up. Right, these are the 2 pipes that come out of the ABS block that feed down through this pile of pipes here, and they go to this junction block. You've got a natural junction block down here, and them are the 2 pipes that feed the rear calipers. So I'm going to come out of the ABS block with 2 individual pipes into a T-piece, go down to the inlet on the master cylinder, then I'm going to come back with another pipe, and then them 2, though, you can, there's actually 3 pipes there. The bigger of the 3, that one, is the clutch, but them 2 there are the feeds back to the calipers. So the 1 pipe that's coming back from the master cylinder now will come back to a T and then I can feed the individual lines down to the rear calipers. This ABS system isn't that clever. It's nowhere near like a modern ABS system. What I'm doing here I've done before with 4-channel ABS. All the ABS computer's looking for is fluid coming out of there. It's not bothered about anything else. Then it's reading the wheel sensors. So the ABS will still work, but if one senses something, it'll react on the other caliper as well because of the way the system's plumbed up. I'm not bothered about that. It won't get confused, it won't bother it, but it's going to work. And that's how you do it. 2 into 1, feed the master cylinder, come back, 1 into 2 and feed them 2 pipes there. That's it. That's all there is to doing it. That's all there is to plumbing it up. The hardest thing is what I've done in here, making brackets. Because this is bolted to existing hardware that's already in the car. You've got a bolt here that holds the handbrake down. You've got another bolt here that holds the gear change bracket down. There's another bolt that holds the bracket for the handbrake cables. So what I've done is I've picked up the handbrake cable mount, I've picked up the handbrake mount, and I've picked up both of the gear change cable mounts and made a base plate in 2 pieces. And both parts of the base plate pick up on every single mounting point that I've just pointed out. And I've come up at 90 degrees, made a U section, so now I've created a box section, which is what these bolts are here, holding the base plate on. Then there's another bracket bolted down with these 4 Allen bolts to that middle bracket to position the master cylinder and hold it in place. All the time giving clearance for the handbrake cables and not interfering with any of the routes of any of the other wiring or the cables that are in the car, whilst keeping the original handbrake mechanism for the ratchet. Because you can buy hydraulic conversions, but they don't have the ratchet, and I wanted the ratchet because it's still a road legal car. And there I've just, that's an M8 rod, that's an M8 female rose joint. That's just, I've just relieved the handbrake to give the rose joint enough movement so it doesn't snag. You don't want this part of the handbrake hitting that because it'll just stop it mechanically. So I've relieved the handbrake. It's not taken any strength out of it because we've bolted it back together there with the bolt, and as you can see, everything's as it should be. All I've got to do now is I've got to make the pipes, bleed the system, go down to the MOT station, stick it on the rollers, Bob's your uncle, you've got a handbrake that works. And I've used a 0.75 bore master cylinder. That's a really old master cylinder in respect of what they used it on. That's the kind of thing they used on Hillman Imps for the clutch and the brakes when they didn't have a servo. It's just a good all-round Lucas master cylinder. The kit number for it is SP1963, if memory serves me right. But this is absolutely solid. It also means I can retain the original centre cowl, because it'll just go over the top of everything and it'll hide all this. You'll not see any of that. You'll not see any of the pipe work, and it'll be a really, really neat job. And if you didn't know it was on, you wouldn't suspect anything. But that's how you do a hydraulic handbrake conversion on a 4-channel ABS system on an MR2.